there's absolutely no need to blow the whistle and draw the game back. That's really a very poor decision by Soto.
It results in Madrid getting the ball back in their attacking half.
Give you a chance to stare into the sun and work out, Bruno, but Spence just pointed out to me, and I think there are some Las Palmas players out warming up too, and when you've got their names and numbers, it'd be interesting to know who they are.
Vini, watched by Park.
Nice.
Fran Garcia. Well done by Sandro to hold up play. We haven't called Kylian's number all too often, but he puts a beauty into Sandro's path. It's one on everybody at the moment. Sandro taking on Rudiger, cutting it back, slipping it across. What a beautiful goal that is. Las Palmas have the lead at home, and it's Javi Munoz for the second week in a row. The man who left La Fábrica in 2014, he spent 8 years in the system for Real Madrid. He has scored at the Estadio Gran Canaria to put Las Palmas in front.
There's a touch that's really important because your eye is drawn to the fact that Rudiger gets left, the fact that Munoz gets in front of his man. But what I really like in this move, once Sandro beats Nacho to the ball, it drops to Kylian, the most important player in yellow. Most important, not just today, but all season. He's glancing left before he controls it to see what his options are. He still controls it perfectly. And then he uses a Modric style outside of the right foot to send it into a place where Sandro can reach it and be on the run, but Rudiger can't. It's really nice by Sandro. It's a lovely, calm, head down, foot over the ball finish from Munoz. But Kylian was really clever in that build-up.
Now Las Palmas know that the job is far from done. But they've done something that they have not been able to do in quite some time. In fact, you've got to go back to 2017 to see the last time Las Palmas scored a singular goal against Real Madrid. They had been held without one for 3 straight games. And Sandro Ramirez, it's worth mentioning, that's his 3rd assist over his last 4 games. He had just 2 in the previous 110 top-flight games.
He's played for a coach that knows him from the Barca system. He's played for a coach who I think specifically wanted him. If you're a player without confidence, and Sandro has been that a lot, that's a big boost to you.
And that should... Well, Alberto Moledo thought he was fouled, and it appears that César Sotogrado says no, and in fact the yellow card's going to come out for Kylian.
Bruno, keep your eyes on Ancelotti. He definitely signalled that he wants an immediate change.
Yeah, I can see him speaking to, can't see from behind if it's Davide or it's someone else from his coaching staff, but clearly lining up a substitution as Vinicius now starts to roam down the left.
And he's trying to win a corner, and he's done it. From Las Palmas' perspective, it's very important right now to keep your head in the game. You can't get taken away by a call that didn't go your way. As the corner comes in, it runs all the way through. Ceballos has his shot blocked. Camavinga, as you mentioned, Graham, is on the opposite side of the pitch. He's a little less comfortable over there right now. And a foul against Perrone will set up another Madrid set piece.
Valverde and Joselu.
Yeah, Joselu, no surprise of any kind. With so long left in the match, I think that it's long before it's that throw somebody on who might produce something. There's a tactical reason for that, and I think it's shiningly obvious. Valverde's energy and power and shooting power, well, why not?
Goal came just 4 minutes ago, and it's been all Madrid since then. Kroos puts it in. Comes back out to Ceballos. Vini over the top with the outside of his boot. Carvajal puts it home, and up comes the flag. And Carvajal is saying, well, I don't know, and this will be looked.
Yeah, there's a nice cynical tone in your voice, because there was a lot of people around Spain saying, well, it seems like Real Madrid call their own decisions after last week's controversial match. But I go back to what I said about Carvajal, and you said, I'd like to hear him, whatever, and I get the theme. He's a right back. He doesn't have a lot of goals, but he keeps producing really. That outside of the right boot goal in the Super Cup final against Sevilla was, which was an extra time 3-2 win, I think. Absolutely fabulous. And he's just bristling, bursting with, I'm not being beaten. All his life, always, it's just like, I'm here to stop anything going against our team. He really is remarkable. Offside, but my point is, that was a nice little finish.
Now the referee is currently pointing to the other side of the pitch.
It's the match delegate. I don't know if our viewers know all the time that there are match delegates who handle the administrative side for both teams. For Real Madrid, the man with the white paper in his hand is their brilliant, legendary ex-full-back who played nearly 500 times for the club. Don't think Las Palmas' delegate is the same as that. Rudiger won't like the look of this. He's clearly out-sprinted. That's very, very good finishing.
Well, you said that Sandro needed to put his boot through one of the earlier chances, and this time Javi Munoz, who scored a wonderful goal against Rayo a week ago with a little heel click, this time takes half a second.
Don't complicate it.
To make a decision.
Head down, body over it, make sure it's firm and on target, and at that range the keeper's not going to save it. So I totally agree with you that Javi Munoz applied just the most simple, basic idea about make sure your contact is firm. You don't need a big swing at it. Get your body over it so it stays down, and it's a goal.
Bruno, it looks like we do have a couple of changes.
Yes, Brahim and Ceballos are the two players that have come off. I was trying to figure out what was going on, because you were saying that the delegate came out and they were pointing towards the other side of the pitch. I could see some security guards and some sort of movement going on in the stands.
Yeah, but one of the Las Palmas fans, we don't know the reason, being escorted down the stairs, Bruno, and therefore we can't tell. We can't tell what it is.
No, can't tell, but obviously something was going on. Something that's caught the referees are the fourth official, and the match delegates had to come out. So we'll have to keep an eye on what goes on, and hopefully nothing severe, nothing too serious.
Well, one thing this will do, without question, is put a few extra minutes onto the end of the original 90. Because we've been halted for about 3 or 4 minutes now. But the changes are in, and that puts Joselu out there with Vini and Rodrigo.
In theory, that means it's a three-man front line. In theory, that means that both full-backs for Las Palmas are going to be either more restricted or are going to face more threat in between. If Madrid's front three, irrespective of what magic they can produce on the ball, if Madrid's front three can pin Las Palmas' back four, then playing out from the back is harder. Getting the ball to this creative midfield of theirs is harder. So aside from just saying there are three brilliant players up front now, there are really clear tactical reasons. And if you look at where Rodrigo is, he's being asked to play right on the touchline as a winger, stretching the play.
And here he is. Right-hand side, not a space we're used to seeing him. Looking to create from a wide angle, and Sergi Cardona defends brilliantly. Camavinga turns. slaloming his way down, finding Rodrigo, lofted up towards Vini. Valles can't see it. It's popped up and then headed away by Munir, who's come out to help, and so too has Javi Munoz.
Right across in the field where Cardona was making ground, Munir did his teammate and his team a big disservice. He was like an 8-stone weakling in how he lost the ball and didn't chase back. It would surprise me a lot if Pimienta didn't put a little note on his black book thinking, Munir, you better shape up, otherwise you won't be on this pitch too much longer.
Well, there's still half an hour and some to go, but this performance by Las Palmas sort of indicates them already for what happened against Barça. They were so close to beating them here. A late penalty conceded by Daly Sinkgraven. Fran Garcia has a chance to put a cross in. Did that ball stay in play? Well, it doesn't matter. It's going to go out, I believe, for a corner.
Two really, really impressive challenges.
And right now the referee, I think, is saying just hold on a moment, because there was an arm that came into contact with the ball, but it was one of those...
First of all, he's supporting himself. Second of all, he's off the pitch.
Yeah, it was one of those supporting yourself situations, exactly. So Kroos puts this towards Rudiger. It's allowed to bounce. Nacho, Carvajal. Been excellent at home this season. They beat Atletico de Madrid here in November.
Should have beaten Barcelona, in all honesty. And your point is good. They led for a long time. They didn't just lose late and to a controversial penalty. The energy drained out of them. Pimienta needs to draw conclusions from that match and work out in this heat against these rivals. We've been chasing the ball for a lot.
Vini potentially stays onside, and he tries to lob Valles again, who's having none of it.
But that, I mean, I am just about Vinicius' #1 fan. That's unusual from him.
Is this one that he needs to swing his boot through first time too? Much easier said than done. He
has the delicacy to get this over Valles. I think he did, that delicate touch, I mean. Look how far away it was. It's, yeah, if he keeps it low, if he can in any way keep it low, Valles is naturally jumping and probably it goes in. But it's been part of a relatively subdued performance from Vinicius today, you'd have to say.
Now Rodrigo trying to seek out Vinicius. That ball runs through to Fran Garcia. Valverde. He knew he can crack it from distance. He was looking for a pass that time around.
Twice now Las Palmas have done something that they hate doing and they do irregularly. Hoofing it away. Again, if this is going to be the pattern for the remainder of the game, Pimienta will want to know, how can I exploit it with pace in behind Real Madrid's defenders, who are now nominally all playing like wingers and strikers.
Can't even get it away that time. You said they got tired against Barça and that Garcia Pimienta needs to learn from that. In this case, it's 24 degrees outside. The sun is blaring down. How do you change what you're so used to doing in order to hold on to a lead?
First of all, get back on the ball. This will be one of the matches where they've had least possession and have chased most throughout the season. And that drains you mentally and physically.
Look at that from Camavinga for Vini! Oh, what a goal! It's an arm shaker. And we are right back to square one. Vinicius gets the goal, but it's Eduardo Camavinga who provides the moment of magic to level Real Madrid. 1-1.
At this moment, it doesn't necessarily look like there's going to be a goal. Camavinga's time on the ball is not providing him with an excellent space. I think Munir thinks he's done enough. Pardon me, not Munir. And Vinny's taken the ball down in the air. His body position is wonderful. It means that his top body and his head stay down, stay over it. That's the reason the ball stays low. It's a very, very good goal. Beautifully converted. I bet you Marmol, it was Marmol, thought he'd done enough to close down Camavinga. A special, very creative footballer, this. Vinicius, well, I think he's one of the world's top 4 or 5 players easily.
It's his 6th league goal of the season, Vinicius. He's now got 11 in all competitions.
And he's had a huge injury absence into the bargain.
Camavinga gets the assist. We'll get back to it in a moment as Fran Garcia puts it into the area looking for Vinny, who couldn't keep it under control. Camavinga is usually playing in a more defensive-oriented situation. That's his first assist or goal of the year. First goal contribution in the league for Eduardo Camavinga. Second assist.
Here's an interesting moment because whatever happened, the players had their backs slightly to us. The assistant referee saw it. Rodrigo was booked in the 4th minute. Replay's going to tell us whether it's exaggerated or not. I have sympathy for the officials. I find that hard to work out. Again, I think that's a little bit like the tiniest of touches that Vinicius felt and went down. Can't speak for you, Spence, but I'm happy that that's not the reason that Rodrigo gets a second booking and departs the field.
Marvin Park is the player down. I'm not sure whether this is a cramp.
You see that, don't you, when you're commentating, and you see them touching their toes and stretching. You hope it's cramp. You always hope it's only cramp. But for everybody who's suffered it, it's agony. You feel like the muscle's going to split and explode. Look at this. Marmol out. That's touch tight, and yet the little release pass is so beautiful, and very few players score that easily from that distance, I think. Beautiful. Unless, of course, you're a Las Palmas fan.
We have seen this movie before. And here come a couple of changes. Bruno?
Yeah, Marvin won't be able to play any further part in this game. He is replaced by Herzog, who's an impressive build. One of the strongest players I've seen up close. And Loyolis was also preparing to come on. I'm not entirely sure they've made that substitution. Doesn't look like they have. No, he's still waiting to come on. Let's see the number that goes up. Number 10, Moledo, will be replaced by the Frenchman.
Bruno, you're a piglet. Don't be intimidated by Herzog. He's a local lad. They tell me he's a sweetheart. Just say hi and wave.
He is huge.
We're going to need a bigger striker. Is that the Jaws quote?
Herzog made his La Liga debut in the last game here at the Estadio Gran Canaria against Villarreal, and he scored from a corner.
Spence, he was very, very good. Yeah, and Comesaña did what Bruno's saying. Comesaña for that goal shrank under Herzog's jump and kind of went, oh, I'm getting out of the way, which made it look an awful goal. But Herzog undoubtedly looks interesting, partly because he's got the composure and game intelligence to go with his physique. It's very, very early. He's got lots to learn, but he looks like a promising starlet for this club.
And he's just 20 years old. He was born in Tenerife, on one of the other islands. Those changes with Park and Moledo coming out do signal a more defensive-oriented approach, but Sandro is not a defensive-oriented player. Now he needs to pick out a pass, and he chose the wrong option. Into the sunshine, Cardona gets the better of Rodrigo.
Lucky for him, his service to Munoz was better in the moment of the goal, because that was just dopey stuff by Sandro, who knew he couldn't outpace Fran the way he did Rudiger. And then he was running back after the ball he'd given away, shouting at Munoz as if it was his fault. He's a very strange lad, Sandro. Not a football Mensa candidate, I have to say.
Vinicius finds Fran Garcia. Vinny again, outside of the boot, and the header slides over the crossbar from Joselu, but that's what he's in there for.
He took an immediate look over his right shoulder, which from any striker like Joselu makes you feel pretty sure he knew he was offside. When they don't look, they're sure they're on. When they have a little look like there, he knows he was off. The ball's good, though. You made a point before Madrid scored, which was that ever since Las Palmas went ahead, Madrid had flooded forward, had dominated, and really it's the case that Las Palmas haven't yet managed to play their way out well or get on the ball and look like themselves in order to stay in this match now and take the point that they're up for 20-24 minutes. They have to do that. They must reset.
Alex Suarez has switched off to the right back position with Marvin Park out. Tried to make a run down the right. Camavinga is fouled. All three results today have implications on both sides, but mostly for the title race. Vinicius, a pillowy first touch. Tries to loft it over the top. It's headed away from Joselu as the flag stays down again. It's been a decent number of runs from Madrid's frontline players. Of course, should Madrid go on and win this game, they would be in control heading into Thursday to take back the league lead. Garcia into the area. It's run through beyond Rodrigo. And it's a foul actually given against Real Madrid.
I'm not sure. I'd argue that Pimienta has not quite calibrated this correctly. I would have thought that maybe it's time for Sandro and Munir, who look a little bit spent. Sandro was a big factor in what you and I talked about, the way in which Barcelona looked out of it, crept back into it. Sandro's energy dropped dramatically. I'd have thought that Soricaba potentially and Fabio or maybe Iñaki Gonzalez are options that Pimienta needs to be reckoning on, because it isn't just that Madrid look more full of quality right now, they look the fresher side.
I mentioned fatigue hurting Las Palmas this season. That's now 14 of their 18 concessions coming after the hour mark.
And they're a team that hates not being on the ball, and they're a team that is not used to doggy runs, like back forward, chasing. They call it doggy runs in training because it's when you got dog and they're chasing a tennis ball back and forward. They tend not to have to do that when they own the ball. When they do it, you notice, and you tend to notice in the last third of a match.
Well, their possession numbers today are fairly even. It's 50.1% at the moment for Las Palmas, 49.9% for Real Madrid. Worth noting, by the way, that of every game they've played this year, both League and Copa, as we see Vinicius' goal yet again, Las Palmas have had less than 50% of the possession on one occasion. That came against Barca.
Yeah, they're a side that is set up to own the ball, both in an attacking sense, but certainly in a defensive sense. And it's one of the reasons with Valles that they've got such a low goals conceded column. And at the moment, this is an anomaly in terms of performances, and I think it's costing them energy.
Carvajal.
Marc Cardona and Pejinho preparing to come on for Las Palmas.
Good timing, Bruno. Thanks for having a word.
So from the two defensive-oriented subs to perhaps two players who can spend a little bit more energy.
Certainly Cardona. The other Cardona will run all day for you. Pejinho, you would hope, will offer more quality on the ball.
Nobody's coming out to check Vinicius, so he'll have a free run towards the back line. And he wasn't able to find Joselu in the appropriate manner. He's not taking any chances today from that backstop.
And I've got my eye on Kyrian, who's doing what Busquets does, which who's your man at Villarreal? Absolutely super, Danny Parejo. When they're not on the ball, they have their hand out, bossing to other players where the ball should go systematically. Kyrian does that all the time. He's right, and he's the orchestra conductor, whether on or off the ball.
Kyrian is number 2 in La Liga EA Sports in passes, period.
Turn.
To distribute. There's the turn. There's the feed for Sandro from Loyolis. Sandro slips. And I think he might have handled it.
It's funny, they may not be able to impose this, but that's twice where in a direct race, he showed that he's quicker than Rudiger.
Oh, look out, Vini.
Valla's doing what I said he needs to do more, the sweeper Cooper role, and having it, as they say in English, have it. No messing about. But that's something that if Sandro's now going to be the substitute, which would seem feasible, Bruno will tell us in a second. Rudiger would be breathing a little sigh of relief.
It is the 2 players which you had pinpointed, Graham, a couple of minutes ago that perhaps needed freshening up. Munir El Khaladi and Sandro Ramirez, the 2 former Barca Academy players, coming off for Marc Cardona, who's also got a past at Football Club Barcelona and Pejino.
So Marc Cardona, who comes from Lleida in Catalonia, 2nd year with the club for him, just had his contract extended through 2026. Scored 7 goals for the club last year. And then the man known as Francisco Jesus Crespo Garcia, Pejino.
And there's a little piece of data that's not in your notes, but when Derek McInnes, currently the Kilmarnock manager, was Aberdeen manager, he had a right hard go to try and sign Marc Cardona, and it didn't come off. And here he is playing in the sunshine against Real Madrid. Who got it right? Who can tell?
It looks like Rudiger might have been called there for a handball. It set up a dead ball situation for Las Palmas. If they wanted to, they could send service into the box.
It's far from their #1 attack route, but Bruno says that Herzog's running around on stilts, so maybe he's the target.
Trying to recreate the angle. Lofted in towards that man, but it's smothered by Lunin.
It's one of the things that he's better at than Kepa. He may not be perfect, he's not a giant keeper, the Ukrainian, but he is significantly better than Kepa in the air.
It's a surging run by Fran Garcia, and his cutback is popped up by Perrone and caught by Valles.
Kudos to the Madrid players, not one of them even tried to con the referee. That should be treated as a back pass, not one of them.
Kroos does very well, and now Rodrigo can have a run. Vini in front of him, unable to get it off of his feet in time, but it comes back out to Valverde. Vinicius tried to get crafty, and Pejino just gives it away inexplicably.
Quality on the ball, as I told you, found the Real Madrid player absolutely perfectly, the Las Palmas man. And Bruno, is Spence about to get his wish?
I was waiting for the second player to get called across because they were going to make the most of this window. So Tchouaméni will be joining Arda Güler as the 2 Real Madrid players prepare to come on.
There you go, Spencer.
Oh well.
Turkish delight.
A league debut. And who knows what will come of the career of Arda Güler, but one thing we will know for certain: January 27th, 2024, and the 18-year-old makes his first appearance in La Liga EA Sports. Arda Güler.
One of our jobs, Spence, is to speak to people at clubs, players, staff. One of the things that I would emphasize is that, well, whatever Arda Güler is like, however many people saw him playing in Turkey, the buzz from the senior playing professionals at Valdebebas, Madrid's training ground, about how startling this kid is on the ball is about as good as I can remember for any young kid that's come into that very hard-nosed, hard-to-thrive club.
He has missed the entire La Liga season to this point with a couple of injuries. Vinny is fouled, and out comes a card for Javi Munoz. That will mean that he misses the next contest for Las Palmas against Granada.
It's so typical of the brilliant who I adore watching. He falls over, he's flat in his face. Somehow he gets up and nutmegs, I think, Javi Munoz. Falls down. Let's see if I'm right. Nuts. Just, there's about 2 other players in the world that could pull that off.
Guller situated right in the middle there, number 24. Here he is on the ball now. He's left-footed, signed for 20 million euros from Fenerbahce in the summer. He has made 2 appearances for the club already, one in the Copa, one in the Supercopa.
In the Copa, he had decent minutes, and there were interesting cameo involvements for him that showed technical ability, but showed maybe that what he really desperately needs now is match time to sharpen up.
He's only got about 15 minutes or so today to make something happen. Vini's frustrated that he didn't get a foul call, and Suarez took his sweet time, which kept Las Palmas from breaking forward.
But kudos to this little man on the pitch, on the ball right now, because he worked back. He's had a good day today. He robbed them.
Vinicius again against Suarez, keeps his run moving. The shot blocked by Marmol. It's going to be a corner. It was a necessary intervention from Mika Marmol. Otherwise, Vini's got a winner.
And it all stemmed from Fran Garcia getting in about, closing them down, robbing the ball, and trip switching this movement. Remember that Ancelotti said that in his opinion, Mondi is the best defensive left back in the world. Fran Garcia has to find ways to A, get in the team, given it's the same position, and then when he's in, do things like that.
Corner from Kroos. From the sunlight, headed home by none other than Aurelien Tchouameni. And Madrid do what they do best. Down a goal, up a goal. It doesn't seem to matter. 2-1.
There's only one way to describe that goal, and no harm to Aurelien Tchouameni, who's fabulous. That's a Bellingham. That's a Jude Bellingham. The timing of the run, the arrival to the way in which he's there unmarked, the leap, and the way in which he absolutely punishes them. Really, really good. There's no movement of his head. It might dip down off his shoulder. Herzog, Bruno's giant, is nowhere because Tchouameni gets a run. That's why you see so much wrestling, so many blocks. Because if a big man like Tchouameni, who's got a jump on him, gets a run, that's what the result will be.
It's the second goal for Aurelien Tchouameni with Real Madrid in his brief tenure at the club. Just his second season, and what a day to score it. He turns 24 years old today. Happy birthday, Mr. Tchouameni.
Bon anniversaire. Cumpleaños feliz in the 2 most important countries to him, where he was born and where he's playing. Jolly good goal.
He scored his first goal with Madrid at Montilivi in September. Part of the 3-0 victory against Girona, the team that Madrid are fighting against this season. And now Las Palmas are fighting against the clock.
Go back to the point you and I have been chewing on for a little while. Just like against Barcelona, although the scoreline is very similar, they've dipped out of this game. Madrid have been intense. Madrid have fought back with everything that they've got in their mental, physical, technical armory since they went 1-0 down. But Las Palmas did drop in intensity, alacrity of reactions, thought, how often they pinged the ball long rather than keeping it, and that's what's led them into the mire at the moment.
Do they have a response in them? Whipped in dangerously, but not dangerously enough. Out by Joselu. Kylian Rodriguez. Back to him again. He's got Loyolis in space. Blows right by him. Finds Marc Cardona. Or rather, Javi Munoz, I should say. Cardona now trying to get on the ball. It's still not cleared convincingly. Carvajal trying to see it out. Eventually, it ends up as a goal kick.
That's one of the things that I think, no matter who you are, you have to like about this Real Madrid side. In theory, they're footballing Rolls Royce. They're elegant. They're winners. When it comes to it, they just get down and dirty and blue collar and work and scuffle. And if it'll get them the 3 points, they don't care if it's inelegant. And I like that. You talked about it right at the tip of the programme. They are gutsy. They fight for every point. And this season, that's what's made them look like, and I include Girona in this, at the moment look like league champions.
Las Palmas have not beaten Real Madrid since 2001. They came here in Las Palmas, a game where Zinedine scored a wondrous free kick, and a 20-year-old Casillas conceded 4.
I remember talking about it in Las Palmas. I remember Casillas inspired Las Palmas side against Athens. Coach going through with the best Las Palmas game I've ever seen. It was absolutely fabulous. And that's Etienne Las Palmas played a version of this football. That's why the director went looking for somebody to reproduce the way they played it better than Etienne.
One positive that Las Palmas can take from the next few minutes is that they should have a decent chunk of added time to try and find a response. We'll know officially in a matter of minutes exactly how much time they have left. Got one more substitution to use if they'd like. Pejinho, cut out by Gullit. It's already capped 4 times with the Turkish national team out of the Gullit, and this is indeed that final change. It is Sori Kaba, Bruno.
Yeah, replacing the goal scorer, Raul Munoz, and Ferland Mendy is going to be the final substitution for Real Madrid, although I was going to say they weren't going to do it in this window, but the board has gone up. And it's number 7, which is Vinicius.
And that's not a testimonial appearance, Bruno. This is the man, the Frenchman, the Ancelotti, who's looking anxiously at the substitution, said is the best defensive left back in the world. He's taken off a guy who, in the added time that Spencer's pointing out there's going to be, could have been a threat, just like Athletic had a double punch up their sleeves in added time and extra time against Barcelona. Vinicius is a player who quite easily, when Las Palmas were pressing, could have burst away and made it 3-1. Instead, Ancelotti is saying, that's not what I value most. I want these points. I want this win sealed up. And it's worth Spence, isn't it, for those who haven't seen Las Palmas. One of the things that Ancelotti and Madrid are trying to avoid is not simply a slip ball through for a runner into the box. Kyrian loves to shoot from distance. They'll be trying desperately to stop him getting a platform on the edge of the box, from where he's proven he can find the top corner of any goalkeeper's net.
He's got 3 goals from outside of the area this year. This is put in towards Sergi Cardona, who was looking for the cutback. It's another Las Palmas throw, and we should know exactly how much extra time we have now.
8 minutes.
8 minutes, which will go by very quickly for Las Palmas fans in the Estadio Gran Canaria, and perhaps a little slower for those in white. Although they do seem like they're back in control, which is where they've been most of this season, even when they're down a goal. We talk about Girona coming back so many times this year. Madrid are doing it at an equal clip.
That's what they do. They define the word, the Spanish word, remontada, the fight back. It's not something they find inelegant. They think it's warrior spirit. They consider themselves aristocrats, but they love being warriors. It's literally in their nature. You don't get to join this club if you don't have or instantly learn the warrior spirit. You just won't last at Real Madrid. Point, full stop.
This victory would put them 2 points clear of Girona, which would send Madrid to 54 points. Girona play tomorrow at Balaidos against Celta. That's the third time in about 8 days that we'll have a game at Balaidos. See exactly what the pitch looks like tomorrow. And then Madrid play again on Thursday against Getafe. That's the makeup game from the Supercopa that they missed match week 20.
And potentially a tough one.
On the road at the Coliseum.
Yeah, feisty.
Here's Pequinho. Mika Marmol. Red Sox slips.
I think Sotogrado thinks that the Turk, who's put himself about, it's the second free kick he's given away. They put the argument with the referee. Madrid fans will be saying, that's our boy. Yeah, look, patience in the build-up and not doing a sort of cavalry charge is all very well. But from Las Palmas right now, with the clock ticking down, it's a little somnambulant. They're not taking risks. The ball and the movement into space, none of that tempo is nearly quick enough at the moment. Remember, this is meat and drink to them at the moment.
Soricaba, decent control. He's able to get it to Perrone.
I'm going to call those ironic cheers to Soricaba from the crowd.
Loyolis can't weave past Kroos. And now Güler gets forward. Can tell he wants the ball. Does it make it harder, though, for Las Palmas when you're not used to playing in an accelerated, fast-paced manner to then have to go do that?
Yeah, obviously, if it's not your if it's not your natural climate about like hurry, quick, create chance after chance, fine. I guess they've all played at different levels for different clubs, whereby desperation is the key word. And whether it's energy, whether it's the fact that they're missing a man like Marvin, who could have been bombing on. So many, such an enjoyable, such an intelligent, such a likeable footballer. That was just brilliant timing, a great leap and a good finish.
Easy to forget, he was an €80 million transfer from Monaco.
Yeah, and there were a queue of clubs who wanted him. Absolutely all over Europe. The elite knew that when he moved, he was playing for France already as a kid. He'd been trained, I think, in the Bordeaux school, along with Jules Koundé. And I think he's been a fantastic signing for Madrid, particularly in the current crisis, given that he can play more than adequately at centre-back.
A lot of different talking points will surely come of this game. And Fran Garcia has gone down and stayed down. One of those that we can look to is the fact that Carlo Ancelotti still hasn't really decided who he wants as his keeper.
No, listen, in the politest of terms, given that I would venerate him as a person and a coach, it's unusual, but I think he's made a bit of a mess of it. He said prior to this match, Courtois might get some game time this season. That would be ahead of schedule because Courtois has withdrawn, thinks he, even if he does start playing again, he said he wouldn't be ready for Belgium in the European Championship, and he said, don't select me. Courtois was very pleased that the replacement they brought in wasn't a player they signed, that it was a loan player. In the meantime, because I don't think Courtois' return is in any way imminent, Ancelotti very rarely sticks on something stubbornly if he reckons he's made a mistake. He will be one of those who says, quite confidently and happily, yeah, I got that wrong. He just will not confront that idea in this instance. I don't think it's done either keeper or the back four any good. And there may be, further forward in the season, there may be a bill to pay for it. Today, Lunen's done very well.
Lunen's done well, and Ancelotti has several decisions to make in some big money games coming up, because after Getafe, it's then a 2-day rest before seeing Atletico de Madrid at the Bernabeu, and the week after that,
they're playing again, aren't they, Spence? Is that right? They're playing again.
Third time, 3 different competitions, and then the week after that, it's Girona in perhaps one of the biggest remaining games of the season in terms of the title race. And then following Girona, 3 days later, it's the first leg of the Champions League against RB Leipzig.
Yeah, listen, I have a strong confidence that they'll cope with that tie. The one that's drawn out, although the Girona, where the table says the Girona one looks brilliant. Given that in the last 2 Atleti Madrid matches, we've seen, 14 goals, is it? 8 in the first one and 6 in the second one. It was 3-1 in the match before that, which makes 18 goals in the last 3 Madrid derbies.
Sets us up for a nice
Where do I sign up? Yeah, where do you sign up? Let's get it on again.
I know Bruno Bergareche will be there for that one. Bruno, this game seemed to follow script in the end. Hold that thought for just a moment, Bruno, because Marmol sent it in. Soricaba tried to settle it. Carvajal wants to get it away. And it appears that he has. And now Arda Güler is going to go on a run to feed Joselu. Güler's at the back post, and here he is in his debut in La Liga, and his touch was too heavy.
But after all we've said about him, we set him up beautifully for his touch to be, what do you say, like a pillow? And for the ball to be clipped beyond Valles. His touch was awful. Valles saved it easily. But it was noticeable. Ancelotti was down the touchline begging his players to head for the corner, not to head for the goal. Ancelotti wants this game tucked away come hell or high water.
Well, Tchouaméni is going to hit the book. Bruno, final thoughts on this one before we say goodbye?
Yeah, we're going to get a chance to see Herzog, see if he can maybe look good as they lump this ball into the box and he can maybe get his body about. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure how García Pimienta will view this one. Maybe we'll get a chance to speak to him after the game and see what he made of it. But it'll be interesting to pick his brain on this game.
Last chance saloon for Las Palmas. Álvaro Valles is up to whip this into the area with the sun blaring in his face. Out comes Lunin. He spills it, but there's nobody in yellow to pick it up. And the referee has blown his whistle, which is the final whistle. And Real Madrid come back yet again. 3 goals in the second half. The first, which belonged to Las Palmas, but then it was Vinicius, and then it was the birthday boy, Aurélien Tchouaméni. And it is Real Madrid who get the victory, Graham.
Another hurdle that Madrid leap over. Madrid being Madrid. I would argue that for viewers around the world, both teams here gave us intelligence, good tactics, moments of great technique. It's been exciting. 3 goals. There are issues to be covered after the match, given that Lunen's down there, not happy. Las Palmas lost an opportunity, but boy, Madrid are gutsy, aren't they?
Las Palmas probably deserve more throughout the season, as we get another look at why Lunin is down. He collided with Soricaba, and he was clutching the left side of his rib cage. So that's something to monitor as we move throughout the very congested fixture list for Real Madrid in the coming weeks and months. Las Palmas will stay on 31 points. They can be overtaken by Real Betis, who are on the same number of points, level, tied for 8th in La Liga EA Sports. So their European push will have to wait for the moment. Las Palmas, meanwhile, Real Madrid go 2 points clear of Girona, who play tomorrow before the makeup game between Madrid and Getafe gets played on Thursday. The fans who came out for this one at the...
Football's more than a game. It's a feeling, anticipation, excitement. To feel more, discover Saudi. More thrilling, more authentic. Feel more in the home of Arabia. The official tourism destination